As we grow older. As we grow older, life often takes on a new meaning, one that we may not have anticipated in our younger years. Imagine this for a moment. You're lying in a hospital bed, perhaps for the first time truly reflecting on life. What you'll come to realize is that what once seemed vital, the presence of children or the accumulation of wealth, may no longer offer the same sense of security. At this stage, it's not about what others can do for you, but about how you've lived and the legacy you've built for yourself. This is a reality that, if faced with the right mindset, can bring peace and fulfillment. Isn't it time to reconsider what truly matters? Time, much like a swiftly moving river, carries us along. We can't stop it, and eventually, we reach the shores of old age. The question is, how will you feel when you arrive? Will you look back and feel content with the life you've lived? Or will you wish you had spent more time focusing on what truly matters? Famous actor Daniel Wong once reflected on this very subject. He said that life and death are inevitable, but the meaning lies in how we live in between. The destination, death, is certain, but the way we travel that path makes all the difference. His words are a gentle reminder that the real value lies in the journey, not just the end. So today, we'll look at the stories of three elderly individuals who've learned valuable lessons about life and death. Perhaps through their experiences, you'll find wisdom to carry with you through your own journey. The most important journey you'll ever take. A few years ago, Daniel Wong was mistakenly reported as dead online, a misunderstanding that would have caused frustration for most people. But Wong's outlook on life and death has always been more philosophical. In an interview, he reflected on this mix-up and the bigger picture. Every second, we're all moving toward death, so why not make every moment meaningful? Wong's perspective is profound. Instead of fearing the end, why not focus on making the process as meaningful as possible? That 2-hour conversation, or that fleeting afternoon with loved ones, those are the moments that make the inevitable journey toward death worthwhile. What do you think? Does this perspective resonate with you? Have you ever stopped to consider that, at the end of it all, the little moments, the coffee with an old friend, the laughter shared with family, are what make life worthwhile? If this is a new way of thinking for you, perhaps it's time to reconsider what truly matters. The truth we often overlook. Old age brings clarity. As written in Facing the Edge of Life, aging often brings clarity, but it also comes with its own set of challenges: illness, loss of mobility, and eventually, death. These are realities for all of us. When you find yourself bedridden, your children may not always be able to be there, and even the most substantial fortune cannot buy more time or health. But instead of feeling overwhelmed by this, why not take control of the time you do have? When we strip away the distractions, what really remains? The answer is simpler than we think. It's how we choose to spend our days, how we approach life's inevitable end. How can you make your remaining years count? Would you agree that life's meaning comes from how we live day by day? In a world where so much is uncertain, what do you hold on to for stability? Share your thoughts. Let's get a conversation going. 3 stories of elderly wisdom, learning to face life and death. Now, let's take a look at 3 stories from elderly individuals who've faced illness and death, but found wisdom along the way. These are people who have come to understand that the most reliable support comes from within. They remind us that in the end, we cannot rely on others to carry us through our final days. It's up to us to shape those days into something meaningful. One such story is that of Mrs. Liu. Mrs. Liu, a woman who, at the age of 96, passed away on her own terms. She was the wife of a well-respected professor at a prestigious university, and she was known for her commitment to self-care and independence. Mrs. Liu had always practiced mindfulness and avoided seeking medical treatment unless absolutely necessary. When asked in her later years what her goals were, she responded with quiet determination. She wanted to live with as little pain as possible, and when the time came, to pass quickly and without burdening her family. For Mrs. Liu, living fully meant embracing every single day with intention. Even as her body aged, she maintained a routine that kept her mind and body active. She continued to read, cook, and go about her daily life independently well into her 90s. She chose to live alone, finding comfort in her own company rather than relying on constant visits from her children. To her, independence was a treasure. Can independence bring you joy? Have you ever thought about how much independence means to you? What small daily routines give you that sense of freedom, even as you grow older? For Mrs. Liu, something as simple as cooking her own meals brought her joy. What brings you happiness in your day-to-day life? Let us know in the comments below. The power of self-reliance. As Mrs. Liu once said, "The body is one's own. Only you know its pain and warmth. You must rely on yourself for health, fitness, and mental well-being." Her words resonate with many older adults who understand the value of self-reliance in maintaining both physical and mental health. Mrs. Liu believed that waiting for outside help, whether from doctors or family, often only provided temporary relief. True well-being, she argued, comes from within. She rarely visited the doctor, instead focusing on diet, massage, and lifestyle changes to maintain her health. For many older adults, this approach is empowering. It serves as a reminder that even as our bodies age, we can still take steps to care for ourselves and live a life of quality. How do you take care of yourself? Have you noticed how small changes, like adjusting your diet or taking a short walk every day, can improve your quality of life? Share your own self-care routines in the comments. And don't forget to hit the like button if you find these stories inspiring. Planning for the future with thoughtfulness. While Mrs. Liu embraced each day with joy, another inspiring figure, Mrs. Xu, took a different approach in preparing for the inevitable. Mrs. Xu was a brilliant mind who graduated from a prestigious medical school and made lasting contributions to infectious disease prevention. After retiring, she turned to technology, sharing her life's reflections through online videos. What made Mrs. Xu's story particularly moving was how thoughtfully she planned for her death. Rather than leaving behind complicated inheritance issues, she took care of everything ahead of time. She sold her property, converting it into cash so that her children wouldn't have to deal with bureaucratic hurdles after she was gone. Her foresight spared her family from unnecessary stress and allowed her to live her final years with peace of mind. Have you thought about your legacy? Have you ever considered how you might ease the burden on your loved ones after you're gone? Planning ahead might be a difficult conversation, but it can also be a gift to your family. Let us know your thoughts in the comments below, and if you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to keep up with more stories like this one. The thrill of living fully, even in later years. One of the most powerful stories we've encountered is that of Mr. Gu, an ordinary farmer diagnosed with terminal cancer in his 70s. After years of medical treatments with little improvement, his son made a bold decision. They would pause the treatments and take Mr. Gu on a long journey to fulfill his lifelong dream of seeing the ocean. For 88 days, Mr. Gu and his family traveled the world, experiencing new things and creating memories that would last a lifetime. They visited the South Pacific, where Mr. Gu fished for jellyfish and sea cucumbers. He even learned how to play the guitar and performed for students at a local university. One of the most remarkable moments was when Mr. Gu and his wife celebrated their wedding anniversary by going skydiving together over the Great Barrier Reef. It was an experience of pure joy, one that brought the family even closer together. By the end of the trip, something miraculous happened. Mr. Gu's health improved. He lived several more years, and his story of adventure and resilience became an inspiration to many. What adventure will you take? Have you ever dreamed of doing something bold and daring, even in your later years? What's stopping you from fulfilling that dream? Share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're feeling inspired by Mr. Gu's story, hit the subscribe button so you don't miss more uplifting tales like this one, embracing the wisdom of aging. As we reflect on these remarkable individuals, one common theme stands out: the wisdom that comes with age. Whether it's Mrs. Liu's quiet self-reliance, Mrs. Shu's thoughtful planning, or Mr. Gu's embrace of adventure, these stories remind us that aging can be a time of growth, learning, and fulfillment. Life, after all, is like drinking water. Only you know whether it's cold or warm. Aging is not a time to slow down or give up, but rather a time to deepen our connection with ourselves and those around us. How do you find meaning as you age? As you grow older, how are you finding meaning in your life? What lessons have you learned that you'd like to share with others? Let us know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Join us on this journey of wisdom and growth, so we can continue learning and sharing together. A call to live fully. In the end, the stories of Mrs. Liu, Mrs. Shu, and Mr. Gu teach us a powerful lesson. Life is to be lived fully, with intention, and with a sense of purpose. Whether you're choosing to embrace each day with joy, planning thoughtfully for your family's future, or embarking on an exciting new adventure, the key to a fulfilling life is taking charge of it. So, we ask you, what steps are you taking today to live the life you truly want? What can you do to ensure that your later years are filled with happiness, peace, and growth? If today's stories have touched you, please give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone who might need a little inspiration. And as always, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you can continue following us on this journey of growth, discovery, and wisdom. Let's walk this journey together. Let's walk this path together, growing older, wiser, and happier. Subscribe to the Go Hard Journey channel, and let's continue to find joy in every stage of life. Together, we can discover how to live fully, embrace every moment, and leave behind a legacy of love and wisdom.